Longtime labor official Greg Massey says it's a myth that H-2s are cheap labor, and it's simply not true that they are taking away jobs that the locals want. On the contrary, he says, contractors have every reason to hire locals over H-2s.
People don't like to use H-2s if they don't have to, because you've got to pay the attorney's fees, and you've got to pay the airfare, and you've got to, pay certain wages that, you're not, you wouldn't have to if you hired local. You have to house, feed, you're responsible for these workers administratively and do legal fees. It's a nightmare to bring in H-2s. There's that myth out there that, oh, it's just cheap foreign labor. It's really not. When you have H-2s, you have to pay the prevailing wage. You can't pay below it. You don't have a choice. There's bonding requirements, there's legal requirements. You've got my office visiting your job site all the time, watching you. So there's a lot of kind of hidden costs around H-2s that people don't realize.
Labor Director Dr. Sam Mabini is a strong advocate of developing local workers. She knows from personal experience what opportunities the construction industry provides and the stereotypes that need to be dispelled.
My father was a carpenter. He took care of the whole family, just from that field. So, I think it's a real opportunity for Guam. We should take advantage of this. We typically think of the construction jobs as, being hot, which is true, and being difficult and whatnot. Or those are only for the blue collar workers, unskilled. Absolutely not. There's a lot of math and science that's involved in it, not to mention what's required of every job, good work ethics. This is a serious issue. We are isolated out here in Guam per se. We don't have the opportunity to have workers come across state lines to come to us. They have to take this plane 6,000 miles to get here, the cost, the different living conditions.
But while the need for construction professionals is here and the demand is growing, it's not been easy recruiting locals, especially the younger generation, says Massey.
There is really a lack of skilled workers on this island in those fields. And there's been a generational shift, in construction. People don't really want to do construction anymore. They want to be in the high tech, the tech industry, or, basically the jobs that aren't so hot outside. There's been a shift, before we'd have workers that would really like to get into the carpentry and the mason work. But I guess generation is kind of different from, and the kids, the millennial, generation and the kids these days, they're not so much into the outdoors in big numbers. I mean, yeah, there are smaller numbers, but look at this chart. We need thousands.
We do have a nice, strong base of workers because we're dealing with construction primarily, but because of the military buildup, we need to identify ways to be able to funnel individuals to move into these various occupations. And here at Department of Labor, through the American Job Center, we have various programs that's federally funded. We've had in the past some funding opportunities through the MDF, through Guam Community College and the Trades Academy to try to bring in that training. But those numbers are small compared to the large amount that we have to fill. So this is not just a Department of Labor issue. This is a community issue. How do we get kids? How do we get young adults who are in or out of the workforce to start looking at these as viable occupations? These are high-paid positions, and I think a lot of people don't realize that.
We're working with the Guam Trades Academy, and they've been doing a great job. Dr. Johnson is, if you haven't ever heard him speak, he makes you want to go into the trades. He's like Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. He makes you want to go into the trades. But GCC, GCA, Sam Mabini, Director Mabini has been a big advocate of registered apprenticeship. Those are all things that we really need to push hard right now, because we need to get the kids interested into the trades again.
It is a community issue. We need to work with parents, families, communities, schools, and businesses. And I'm appealing businesses to invest in their workforce. Part of their budget should be training. They can't fully rely on the government to fund the training. No different than a person who wants to send their child to college, that they have to budget, they have to plan for this. It is needed if they want to take advantage of this economic opportunity. Investing in the workforce is what is needed.
Labor officials acknowledge it will take time and a concerted effort to build a local construction labor force, and it starts with changing the mindset of those who don't imagine it as a career.
They're not dead-end jobs. We have people who go into the, let's say the carpentry or the mason positions that can move up to different supervisory positions. So it's not a dead-end job. There are opportunities to move up, to scale up, and to have it as an actual professional career. So I'm encouraging the people of Guam to see this as a real opportunity, to look at this as not a way to just fill in the gaps because foreign laborers are not here. It is a real opportunity. So we need to do a reality check, and we have to do that job here at Labor, to work with the Department of Education, help their teachers understand that there's all these different jobs. These are the various different salary opportunities, and it's that awareness. So that is a challenge. How do we help build awareness and help people clearly understand that these are opportunities?
The latest update to the labor situation: at the end of March, the first approvals of H-2B visa petitions since November 2016 were issued by USCIS. They fall under the National Defense Spending Bill authorization of up to 4,000 foreign laborers, specifically for military projects. Labor's Massey says he believes many other contractors were waiting to see the results of this first test case under the NDAA law, and he expects the rest will follow suit. Meanwhile, the administration says the second big test is the petition for 550 workers for non-military projects that are allowed under the district court ruling. Governor Calvo says he is cautiously optimistic that those too will be approved, which he then believes would signal that the federal government is acting in good faith and that the military buildup will benefit people on both sides of the fence. So our more than 2-year-long labor pains now appear to be easy, paving the way for the $8.7 billion relocation of Marines from Okinawa. To paraphrase an old movie line, if you build it, they will come. Well, Marine Corps Base Guam will soon be built in a few short years from now. That's our report. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Licanto. Thanks for watching.